Hello, you. I'm your grandfather. My name is John Gregory Presco. I am the father of Heather Hanson, your mother. Today, I found an image of you on Facebook. That's you. You are not born yet. You are a unborn face being. This is a new terminology because your mother took the liberty to get I don't know what they call that, something scope of her swollen belly, which contains you, and you are in her belly. So this is an image of, her. That's my daughter's womb, and you're in it. The real question is this relevant? Is this really relevant? Is this really going to matter to you or to anybody that I make this video to you? And I do this because your mother wrote you a letter. I'm going to read it. Because I don't think it was written by her. I would probably get some kind of English major test. She doesn't make any mention of your father, your alleged father, Bobby Dew. He didn't make it in this very long letter, which is suspicious. So I would probably get a blood test, because you see, there's been this identity feud going on in my family. Your great-grandmother, Rosemary Presco, born Rosemary Rosamond, gave birth to two talented children, and one became the world-famous artist, Christine Rosamond Benton. And she was one of the highest-paid female artists in the history of art, if not one of the highest-paid artists, period. And when she died in 1994, an identity crisis like you wouldn't believe started. It continued into the Superior Court. My nieces fought each other over basically $60 million worth of art, plus movie rights and book rights. So producing superior narcissistic material to prove that you were more worthy than any other member of the family, it was very, very, very vicious. I mean, the battle is, apparently it's still going on because your mother, I tried to make amends after she miscarried a couple months ago, and then I heard she's pregnant again with you, the unnamed Facebook being. So I had a divine image of you, and I tried to make amends, and I was rejected and labeled a PPD, a personality something, anyway, mentally unfit to be my daughter's father and unfit to be your grandfather. So, and she printed all that out. Maybe we'll read that. See, you might find this. Let me premise this. You might actually, at around 15, you might become an intelligent, curious person that's interested in genealogy and history, and you're on the internet or on your advanced phone, and all of a sudden, oh, there's my mother, grandmother, and my brother. What's going on here? Who's this guy? Who's John Presco? Don't tell me about him. Wait a minute, is that the crazy wild man that they had to put down, with a dart gun? Is that him? Could you be that guy? Anyway, so the fight continues. This is Heather Hanson, woman's empowerment coach, writing a letter to you. Dear child of mine, this is my second chance at parenthood. I've had 14 years of learning from my mistakes. Your sweet brother and I have had 14 years of growing and learning together. He has taught me a lot, and I know that you will have more to teach me too. This is what I've learned so far. Well, this reeks of a third party. When Heather sent me her first typed out letter with her name signed up, my English literature friend who went to Harvard and was a double date said, your daughter didn't write this letter, so there's a good chance. Because, anyway, you'll see. This is what I have learned so far. Words do not teach. Example is the greatest teacher. It is not my job to guide and protect you. We each have our own inner guidance and inner wisdom to lead us down our unique paths. It is not your job to love me. It is my job to love you unconditionally, and whatever you do in response to that love is none of my business. Your true nature is to see through the eyes of love. My warnings and fears will not protect you, but love will. I will show you all there is to love in this world, so that you, I gotta stop doing that nervous thing with my fingers, so you can focus on what is working and attract more, if that, into your experience. This is the grandmother. She majored in, I don't know, psychology in Chicago, or I don't know, philosophy. Yeah, philosophy. She majored in philosophy. So here it is. And she's written most of your mother's stuff, and all through high school she did all her boards and her projects, and she dressed her up and made costumes as Merlin's daughter and Tinkerbell. So this is part of the Tinkerbell syndrome, because your grandmother, Patrice Hanson, is a narcissistic human being. She suffers from narcissism. And she's a stage mother, so she's kind of like the puppet master, and my daughter is the puppet, you know. And so when you are looking and admiring, you know, Heather the puppet, she's getting all the vicarious. It all goes to her, everything's channeled to her. So already you're not even born, and she's reaching the grandmother, you know, this is like Maleficent, you know, reaching into the womb to, you know. Actually, it's to get a healing. That's what's going on. She uses children, she borns them to get healed, because her mother was a schizophrenic that was in and out of mental hospitals, and she was beaten up by Patrice's father, your great-grandfather, and she jumped off a cliff and killed herself. So Patrice ended up taking some LSD in Berkeley, and she had this divine vision, and everything's all healed, everything's better, as long as she keeps borning children into the world, because she's the goddess, great goddess, Berkeley mother, and she doesn't have to go into therapy or see a psychiatrist or anything like that, because, you know, she's just keep borning children, and they're bringing divine messages from the dead grandmother who jumped off the cliff, see? And Heather, your mother got brought up on this, and you'll probably be brought up on this too. You know, I mean, hopefully she doesn't live that long. Maybe you'll, you know, not see her around after 3 years old, and you have a chance. That's a horrible thing to say, but, you know, there was a chance for everybody, your mother, your grandmother, everybody in your family down the line, to be in my famous sister's biography. And Patrice Hanson destroyed it. She got her daughter to destroy it. So that history didn't get written down. It's not being read. And it's not being passed down to you. That's the point. That's the point of me speaking to you. Oh, Facebook being. Okay, I knew that I was going to get distracted. The best advice I will give you is to follow your intuition and trust yourself. Through my commitment to loving myself, I will teach you how to do the same. What? There we go. Through my commitment to loving myself, I will teach you how to do the same. Narcissism. What you think about yourself matters more than what anyone else thinks of you. See, there's little hearts, see, by every set. So this is kind of like a fortune cookie thing here. You know, little segments of, see that? You know, when you get to be 15, well, 15, it's 16 years from now, hopefully civilization will still exist and be a more advanced in terms of our social media and understanding of the psychology of it. Right now we're pretty much into the raw aspects of it. So you'll be pretty hip to all this kind of language, I'm sure. When you're 15, you'll be able to see through all this little twice removed coding of the hidden grandma from the dead Betty cult, you know, the grandmother jumped off the cliff. See? I'm just giving you a clue. See, I will never do for you what you can do for yourself. Are you grasping this? See, you're not even born yet, and you're being inflicted with this, which was causing me to respond in this tape, because I'm a Futurian, see. We'll talk about that sometime. I'll leave that tape. See, I'm leaving all my history, so you're going to look at my history and find that, you know, my gosh, look at this. Look at the genealogy, look at the history, look at the people, and in this, my grandfather's book. How come no one was going to tell me about this history or this genealogy? I mean, you've got 90 people into genealogies, and I've been steered away from it all my life, and now I find this videotape to me. You don't even have a name. I don't even know what sex you are. Oh, I will see you as the talented, powerful, capable creator that you came forth to be. Oh, talented, powerful, capable creator, that's what you're going to be, see? I will never hold you responsible for my feelings, for my experience. I will always be here for you when you ask me for help and support. But before I help you, I will ask you what you think you need and let you be the leader of your own experience. Aha, see, I think she's going to throw that in there because she's hearing rumors or reading my stuff that, her mother lives vicariously through her, and she's a narcissistic personality, has no empathy for really anybody, including her daughter. Well, that is it for now. I shall look forward to holding you in my arms. May you grow healthy and strong as you make your way into this world. With love, Mommy. And that's the key. Because that looks like Patrice Hanson, the grandmother, your grandmother, came up with that title, Mommy. It doesn't fit. And there's no mention of your father, Bobby Dew, who conceived you and brought in the world. And it looks like this is your grandmother wanting to make sure that her input absolutely wipes out my input. See, she got to first base first, or she got to the moon first and planted the flag. This is a record, not of your mother, but of your grandmother, Patrice Hanson. Isn't that interesting? This is, Facebook. See, and there's your face before you're born. So again, why do I care? Why should I care? I'm going to lose anyway. She's got all the people there. She's got all the human beings and my grandson, and basically they're all a very close family knit system, because there's mental illness and suicide. That's not really an open system. So let's go back with some guidelines here to see where it really went bad, to see where Patrice Hanson destroyed the biography that I was writing before my sister died. See, when should I have been, oh boy, I should have gone over this. Poor Patrice kidnapped my minor daughter and introduced her to Vicky. She was going to name her unborn child Lily Rose after my mother and aunt. I was not told I was going to be a grandfather. Patrice wanted Heather in Snyder's book. Patrice was concerned I would write something bad about her. Here is what Tom Snyder wrote about Heather's grandmother, Rosemary. Anyway, these are just the notes, which I'm going to probably use to write your letter down in words. But basically, your grandmother was a stage mother, and she read on the internet that my sister had died, and Tom Snyder, a ghostwriter who never met my family, and Patrice never met my family, was looking for people that know my sister to come forth and be in the biography. Well, how much of a role Patrice Hanson and Heather Hanson expected is the key. Because what in the world were they going to say except, hey, here's Christine's brother's daughter right here, And I knew him for a couple of months. He took my kids in, and my husband threatened to kill him, so I told John, Greg Presco, I was thinking about going back to him, and I threw her out. I didn't know she was pregnant. She did. And so she went back to this crazy con artist, San Quentin convict, who was impersonating Bob Weir. He was a famous fraud. She went back to him. My baby was born. She introduced Heather Hanson to this criminal. I said, "This is your baby." Well, I think he knew it wasn't, because that baby had beautiful blue, intense eyes like your mother. And he was Sicilian, brown-eyed, and of course his mother knew. And I heard Patrice tell me that he couldn't conceive a child, and that's why his mother, the Sicilian, was upset, because she felt there was a curse on the family. Well, this is it. This is the curse. We just can't leave the children, out of our mental illness. See, this is why I'm reluctant to do this. But I think you're going to be thoroughly, probably partially mentally ill when you're 15 and when you find this tape. You're probably wondering what the world happened. Like I did. I had art touring the world when I was 13 and 16. I read a lot of artist books and philosophy, and was a well-read human being, wrote poetry beyond my years. I wasn't like my parents. I had gifts. I was born with unique gifts. And I'm the only one that's looked at our genealogy. I'm the one that's compiled our history, and et cetera, et cetera. I taught Christine, I showed her a painting I did, and she took up art when she was 24. She found permission to do this because she was on welfare with a childless support. And that was Shannon. And I told Patrice and my 16-year-old daughter, I said, stay away from Vicky, stay away from my sister, stay away from the gallery people, because there's a fight with Shannon, my niece, over the state. And Vicky, my sister, filed a false police report against Shannon and filed an affidavit in the Superior Court. So you don't want to go and get mixed up in this. Well, me and Patrice had a little spat about her living with a Scientologist. She disappeared my daughter, and she went right to Vicky so she could get into Tom Snyder's book, when you close your eyes, about Christine Rosamond. And that destroyed my story and the beautiful ending of my autobiography, that you would be in, my daughter would have been in, Patrice would have been in, and there would have been no problem. But the real problem was Patrice would have a very, very small role. Heather would have a role about like this, and I would have one about like that. This is to say that my role would put Patrice in the shadows, and it would put her daughter next to me, and basically Patrice would not be an important player in this autobiography that I was writing. Turned out she wasn't in Snyder's book, because I said, if you use anything about my daughter, who was a minor when she was disappeared from my life, I will sue you. And if you use anything about me, I will sue you because you entice my daughter. So I'm not in the biography of Christine Rosamond. I'm not, I'm a teacher. So all this history that should have been written in the same manner was all destroyed by your grandmother, Patrice Hanson. She absolutely threw a fit because she wasn't going to be the grand narcissistic queen of Berkeley and LSD messiah of women. I mean, she's truly a lunatic. And of course, I've got to be the lunatic. But anyway, you're not even in the world already, all this history, awaits you. Hopefully I will get the book because you're going to be a part of it, explaining how the unborn is brought into this as, like the series King, Thrones or something. What is it? Swords of Thrones or something like that. It has some interest into how the world fights over legacies. This is your story. It will be your story. You might not be aware of it or ever told. You might end up, I don't know, slinging, pancakes at the pancake house and going to country western things, But then you might be kind of a person like me, or maybe your child. And then all this history that I've compiled would just like blossom. It would be like a dormant seed. And it'd go whoosh. See, and then it'd be roses everywhere. Okay. Oh, yeah. Heather was going to name Tyler Lily Rose if it was a girl, see. And I wasn't told that she was pregnant. So this is an ongoing thing, see. Lily Rose, I don't know, maybe we can, if you're a girl, we can work out a name. I'll call you personally. Okay, you Facebook being you. Enjoy the womb while you can. Be careful out there. I really am excited about you being born, truly. And it just activates a lot of spiritual things for me, a lot of magical things that I would like to see passed down to my offspring. And I hope you get some of that. And I hope you're a magical human being.